Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and anytime I post a flip through or pages of my illustrated journal, my travel sketchbook, I get people who I inevitably get comments that say, well, that's great, I like the pages, but I could never do that because I can't draw. Well, one, you probably can draw and just don't know it yet. But that is a different video. This video is going to talk about how you can make pages without even being able to draw a straight line. And if you can make one interesting page, you can make a book full of interesting pages and get your memories down. So the first part of the video is where I'm going to show you some pages that I already have made and talk about the techniques. And then the second half of the video is going to be where I take elements and we make a page or two. Here is when I visited a museum. Clearly, it was an exhibition of Frida Kahlo's work. It was amazing. And I got a lot of, this was a free brochure that came with, it says V&A, that came from the museum. And then this is a postcard that, postcards that really probably did not cost very much. And I made a pocket here using a corner of an old Echo print. So that's where these are now. And then I added a little bit of watercolor wash, and when it was dry, I wrote down some memories of the visit. That's it. Here is one where I went to Barcelona, and it was one of the best trips I've ever made. And there you will see a lot of architecture, and I do not draw architecture well at all. So instead, I am a very good gluer. I can glue with the best of them. And I took these free brochures and just glued them in. I think this cost, like €1. It's a bookmark, and I just added that. You see a lot of blue mosaic in this city, so I can't draw mosaics, but I can put down a blue wash in different blue tones and just draw in some checkerboard lines. And then my words. So that works. Maybe you're not traveling, that's fine. We're all staying home. Maybe you liked staying home. That doesn't mean that you can't make a really fun, good-looking book. This is from last year when we went into lockdown, and we were all kind of stunned. This is a little piece of paper that was the wrapping around my skincare. Now, again, that does not sound very compelling, but think about it. Again, if your grandmother or someone in your life from a few generations ago had added a little bit of a wrapper from the skincare that she had used for years, that would tell you really a couple of very charming stories. So I took a chance and did that, and then scribbled some notes over that. This is a sticker from a blank diary. I don't like stickers in my diaries, so I put it here. Let's see. And this is from a box of tea. This is from when we were all panicked. Well, I wasn't panic buying, but I have to confess that my husband was, in fact, panic buying. And in the shop, the only thing left was, I think, some wilted celery and some low-calorie Laughing Cow cheese, which I don't really like. But the packaging was really adorable. So, again, think about it. We really love vintage advertising now from the 1890s, the 19-teens, 1940s. If this book is still around in 150 years, that's going to be really fun. Over here, I had an envelope from some cards I ordered. I just glued that down because I love the stamps. And now I have a pocket where I can put letters and cards. And again, no drawing required. Now, here are some of the elements that I'm going to use in the page or two I'm going to make and show you the process. no matter how hard I try, bits of paper just pile up in my life. I keep them in an envelope or 20, and then as I can, I turn them into pages. Some of this is from travel, but some of it's everyday stuff. These are Christmas cards. And clearly, as it's a Christmas card, I do not want to glue down the message from my friend. So these are pretty, but they're also memories. And I need a pocket to put them in. This is from my tax bill, the dreaded brown paper envelope. But the good news that it brought was it has this little cellophane window. I can trim this to the page, and then anything that I put inside, I'm going to get a little sneak peek there. So it's handy, and it adds some layers and elements to your page. This is a good place to remind all of us that we are surrounded by so much paper that we actually see as recycling or garbage or rubbish when it's actually a free art supply. So I hope that this is also kind of a pep talk to encourage you to look with fresh eyes at the bits of things that are around you that you can use. Like, such as this. This was a piece of paper that some pastries came wrapped in. Now, I could have thrown this away after I ate the delicious pastries, but why would I do that? Why would I throw away free art supplies? It's a very thin paper, so if I glue it to a page, it's going to go down transparent, and then these balls with this adorable printing styles will really pop. And I can also cut these out and use these balls, these bubbles, to fill up spaces on pages that maybe need a little bit of an extra element. So you need to just look at stuff around you and see its potential. This is a box from some fountain pen ink, and I am mad about green ink. I have a lot of it. Let's see. So again, I could have just recycled this, but I'm going to use these panels in some, I think, an art journal page. And then this one with this cool fake calligraphy is going to be used here in my book, my illustrated journal, to remind myself of green ink. This is a bag that some tea came in, and it was delicious, but it was also kind of pricey. So no way I was going to throw this bag away. I'm going to use it. I love pockets, and you need pockets. So I'm just going to trim this to the page and use it as that. This is a bit of paper from a grocery bag. And again, I just liked the way the fake printing looked. This is a business card from a friend of mine who does assemblage. Well, I'm certainly not going to throw anything that pretty away. And so maybe it will fit in this little pocket. We'll see. This I tore out. I treated myself to a subscription to a magazine, and this quote was on one of the pages, and it just is not only a very sound quote, but I loved the way the white type font pops on the black background. So that's not exactly a memory, but it's just going to make a good looking element on a page. And these, let's see, these are from when I was in North Carolina and a friend went to Home Depot, and I was so bored. I can't remember what he was shopping for, but it was boring. So I went to the paint section, as one does, and helped myself to a few swatches. And these could make charming tags. I can put something on them and then put them in a pocket. So, art supplies. I'm going to go glue these down mostly, and then assemble them and talk about some ideas for doing that. Now I've already started gluing a few pages, and while they're drying, I want to show you a little bit about making this envelope, this pocket, out of the envelope that my tax bill came in. Not the happiest memory, but it's also true that this is part of my day-to-day life, so there's a little story already going on. I'm just going to add a thin strip of glue here, and that will make my pocket. Then I'll just glue the whole thing down to this page. I wanted to add a little more interest to the envelope. And I did have this fragment of the grocery bag that I could add. And I do like that linen kind of parchment palette. But I just feel like something a little bit, that's not it. I also have these fragments from a video that I made on using clear embossing powder with distress inks. And if anybody's interested in that video, let me know and I can do it again. So I think I'm just going to add this scrap here, because even though it was just like a leftover from this project, a little nothing, a little scrap, it's just too pretty to throw away. And what did I tell you about free art supplies? Okay, so I think I'm just going to glue that there. And this will leave me plenty of room for adding words and text about what I'm going to put inside, and also about making this project, which, since I love doing crafts, was a very happy day. I still want to add more interest, even though I'm going to put the words here, so I'm taking a water-soluble crayon. You could use watercolors or pencils, markers, whatever you've got, okay? Again, you don't have to be able to draw. This is technically called scribbling, okay? Scribbling. So this is water soluble, so I'm going to go ahead and activate it, but only roughly. I don't want it to be too much coverage. And when that dries, I will be able to add some words to that, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. Now, you can see that before I take out a new sketchbook on the road, I like to go through and drizzle tea on every 2 or 3 pages and then blot it and make it nice and messy. There's 2 reasons. One is that it helps me get over the fear of the blank page when I have a new sketchbook. It also, it's interesting, the eye doesn't really register it as a shape or a thing, but it adds interest and texture and depth and layer to your page, almost subconsciously. Let's see. You can see here that I took the little tea bag and trimmed it, and now it is a pocket for some of my smaller pieces, especially ones, you know, that I want to take out and enjoy both sides of. I did make a tag from a bit of the box of ink, and I glued it to the paint swatch and added a tag. This is from the brochure of a concert I went to at a church. And so that's pretty, but it's also a memory. Over here you can see that I have used some of the paper from that the pastries were wrapped in, and because the paper was so thin, it's gone so transparent it actually looks like it is the page. And in a happy accident, the tea is a cappuccino color, which, since of course I had coffee with my pastries, has an organic happy accident feel to it. I want to add a little bit of just messy stuff here to add interest to the page. So I'm going to do a little stencil work. You do not have to do stencils if you don't have them. You can use doodles or crayons or markers and Sharpies. Sorry about that. whatever you've got. I'll bring that over here a little bit. And that's going to make the pages kind of hang together. You could also use rubber stamps. You get the idea. Now I'm going to add a box for my text. It just makes, again, just a little bit of interest to the page. So, also, I just love a box. Okay. So I'm intersecting it with the circles. So this is where I'm going to add my words. I hope you can see that these lines are very wavy and imperfect because you don't have to be able to draw a straight line. Finally, I'm going to really make this page messy and fun by adding some more drizzles. I have some acorn ink and a pipette, an eyedropper. And I'm just going to go, you've seen me probably distress the tops like this using a mister, but today I thought I'd show a different way of doing that technique. Maybe a little less scary, and that is with this pipette. Again, you do want to loosen it with the mister. Okay. Just going to make it just fall down into your page like that. It's very subtle, but when your page is finished, it will just add interest to it. I'm going to let that dry and add the text. Let's take one last look. I've added my text, written a little bit about what's inside this envelope turned pocket. Now I have a place to put my Christmas cards, which were just in a drawer somewhere, and I can take them out and enjoy them. Plus, they look really cool. Over here, this is the finished layout. And again, I've added the text to the box and a little bit of border. I took a rubber stamp, just has nothing to do with the page except it adds some extra texture and mess. And I wrote in some labeling here about what these pieces are. There you go. And I hope this proves to you that you can make fun, enchanting pages even if you can't draw or think you can't draw. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and please subscribe to my online newsletter. It goes out once a month and it has hacks and tips, journal arts, book arts, free vintage paper downloads, and the occasional pep talk. The link to my newsletter is underneath this text. I post every Friday on YouTube, so until then, get up and go make something.